Powerful day to you. I know that often and many times there might be times in your day where you don't feel as powerful as you want to. And today we're going to dive in a little bit and really understand where that is coming from. So, if you're somebody who has a lot of things that you do in a day, that you accomplish many things, and you still don't feel powerful, then there's a lot of work in your mindset and your own self worth that we may need to dive in through. But today, what I want to focus on is those power struggles that come in, especially in relationships. So, this could be between a mom and a dad, a husband and a wife, brother and a sister, grandparent and their grandchild. It doesn't really matter what it is. But in a relationship, often we face challenges, with power. Like, I don't want to give up this because they're going to win. What if you change the narrative to look at it as a win win situation instead of a lose and a win situation? What if you took yourself out of the equation and understood why the power struggle is happening in the first place? Something as simple as understanding that just because your child is throwing a tantrum doesn't really mean that I want to listen to you, and that they're not telling you that you're not the one that has the authority. They're actually going through something that is impacting that transaction, that relationship, that moment. So ask questions. One of the best ways to learn what is going on is ask questions. First, ask yourself a question like, what do I need to do right now? And you'll see that this small shift and pivot will transform the way you're doing things. Okay. It'll really alter and change the way that you are showing up for your own self, let alone somebody else. So when you ask, what can you do differently? You'll start to get ideas. And often it's the space in between, this pause space is what I'll call it today, where a lot of freedom happens. The freedom to choose our responses, the freedom to show up the way that we want, the freedom to maybe open up space to listen to other people. So in this moment, when you're having a tough time with your kiddo, try to back, try to just take a step back and get yourself out of the equation and say, how can I serve them better? What can I do differently? How can I make them feel heard, make them feel acknowledged, make them feel cared for? And when you stop and ask that question, hey, what can I do to make things better? Hey, what do you need from me right now? It opens up this beautiful dialogue. And this beautiful dialogue is where a lot of the growth is. And what I'm discovering in my own youth at group coaching, which I lead every single week, is it is in these transactions, in these relationships, when those tough questions are asked, that these adolescents are actually growing. They're understanding that, you know what? It's not really about procrastination. It's about the fact that I don't value my time. It's not about procrastination. It's more like I don't have the tools to really know how to manage my time. I'm really angry at my sister or my brother because there is something that happened 5 years ago, 2 years ago, where they hurt me and I think they're going to do it all over again. It's these small shifts that we make with a mindset of positivity, with collaboration, with peer engagement. So, what happens in these adolescent group coaching sessions is every single week we meet virtually and we talk about topics that are impacting their lives on a day to day basis. That could be, what's the number one challenge you're facing? What do you want to focus more on? What is something that you want to change about yourself? What is something that has made you successful? And how do you celebrate yourself a little bit more? So every single week we'll dive in and we'll talk about specific topics that are impacting their age group. When I say their age groups, these programs are catered and built out for people from the age of 9 to 19, and we divide them up by age range. Why? Because they're facing very similar places in life, scenarios in life, situations in life, challenges in life, so to speak. And we dive in weekly online. So it's super easy for anybody that wants to be a part of this amazing experience where we're empowering and building a community of peers who are learning from one another, where we go through guided coaching to better themselves and the way that they show up and what they feel about themselves. How do you have the tools to know when I'm feeling really low, what do I need to do? And it's in these small, simple questions, small, simple work that we do week to week basis that I guarantee you will find a more happier, kinder, confident, more giving child, not only for themselves, but also for the whole family. So if you are somebody who is interested in how do you actually learn more, it's super simple. Go ahead and click on the QR link. And what it'll do, it'll pop up a calendar where you can just schedule a free session with me, no obligations. And I want to learn a little bit more about where your kid is at and also see if this program is something that will serve them. And when it does, you'll start to see the transformation and brilliance starts to pour in so many different directions. So, with that said, a whole lot of umbergy coming your way, a ton of goodness, and lots of positivity. Take good care.